Good morning, out for the morning stroll because it's not raining today, but it is terribly overcast. As you can see, I feel like I'm in the dark on National Pot Pie Day. So it's a Friday. If you don't feel like cooking, just heat up a pot pie, but do it in the oven, not the microwave. Oh, look who's back there. Oh, there's my buddy. So stay tuned. Alex Jones took the stand yesterday. You're not going to miss what he had to say. Hey everybody, Crafting Journey here. That Journey Chick on Instagram and the leftovers on my other channel. The link is down in the description if you want to check that out. That's where I resell items that I find at garage sales, thrift stores, and sell them on eBay for a profit. So how's everybody doing today? Much better than yesterday because I remembered to take my medication. So all is well. And I want to thank each and every one of you. I wish I could thank you individually. I read every single comment, and all I can say is I'm very blessed to have a lot of really, really supportive subscribers, friends, family. You guys are awesome. So I'm continuing to work on the Black Lab. I'm not even halfway done with this thing. It's huge. My goodness. So I'm actually going to work on the side for a little bit, which is just a lot of. I'm not sure why they didn't do this as a partial, to be honest, because the side is just kind of one color. I'll try to put a picture here to show you what the finished product would look like. And you'll see that the border is like a lot of white, but it's like 4 different colors of white. So instead of just color block, it's hard to explain. But anyway, it's beautiful. It's turning out gorgeous. But anyway, they could have just done the dog and given me a border. I did another painting like that that just had the border. It was Alice in a jar, and it just had Alice in the jar, and then just this nice border with some diamond painting butterflies. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yesterday I watched one of my favorite channels where they buy storage lockers, and they go through the storage lockers and they show you what they found. Well, he finds a diamond painting and he's like, arts and crafts, throws it aside. You see all the little diamonds in the packages. I thought that was pretty funny. Anyway, arts and crafts. Yep, that's what we're all about, arts and crafts. So it's National Chicken Pot Pie Day. So guess who sponsored that national day? Of course, Marie Callender. So if I have to purchase a chicken pot pie, I'm going to buy a Marie Callender. Oh my God, they're so good. But don't cook them in the microwave. I will take the time to put them in the oven. So this is not a summertime food. It's a comfort food for the winter time. So, and we're getting up on those months, hopefully in the next month or so where the air is getting cooler. It was in the 50s last night overnight. So you want to just take the time and put it in the oven so the bottom of it crisps up nice and flaky and the top is flaky. Oh, so good. Now, I like to make them from scratch. And how I do that is typically I'll buy like a store, roasted chicken, and we'll have chicken one night. And then whatever's left, I just pull it all off the bone, chop it up, and make chicken pot pie. I'll buy that Pillsbury crust because that's the best. I mean, why make your own if you can buy Pillsbury? And I make it, you can do it individually and then freeze it. I could do that. Or I just make one big pot pie. But the smell of it when it's cooking is amazing. Yeah, anyway, you put peas and carrots and potatoes and maybe some butternut squash in there, and I gotta make this, but it's not going to be tonight because my sister is making spaghetti, her famous sauce. She makes it from scratch. Well, from the can. I don't know. She has a recipe. But the like button is going to help her. So hit the like button today on your way in or out of this video. And don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and the notification bell so you get notified whenever this video gets posted or any of my other videos. And I realize the gaming thing is not for everybody. I totally understand. It's just something I'm doing for fun. It gives me an hour of the day where, I just have fun. And if you guys want to join me, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. I just have fun doing it. And enjoy chit-chatting with the people that do come. So what else is going on? All right, let's talk about the crafting and crime. First of all, Nicholas Cruz, yes, the Parkland shooter. He gunned down 17 students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and injured, well, students and teachers, and then injured 17 others. So he is on trial for that. He's already pled guilty, but the trial is to determine the penalty, whether he gets life or death. So they took a week off after the defense rested. On Monday, the prosecution will come back with their rebuttal. Now, this week, there was a motion, the defense filed a motion to have the judge recused from this case because of her animosity towards the defense. I showed you that video where she just lit into the defense. Well, the judge, of course, denied the motion. She said, look, no, I'm not going anywhere. Deal with it. Okay. It's difficult when you're filing a motion and the person that has to rule on the motion is the one that's got the animosity. But they have to make their record. The other thing that they were arguing about this week in that case is whether the prosecution will be able to show footage or pictures of swastikas. Apparently that was on some of the material or even I don't know if it was on the gun case or I don't know. I don't know if there's been a ruling on that or not. And I really don't know that that's going to affect the jury one way or the other. I think once the jury did that jury view where they got on a bus and they went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School and they went through that preserved crime scene. I mean, 4 years after the event, they actually walked through the crime scene and it looks like it had just happened. I mean, it's just dried blood on the floor, withered flowers. I mean, everything is just as it was the day of the shooting. They just left it that way with this jury view in mind. I don't know what they'll do with that building now. But so anyway, next week we're going to get the rebuttal, which I assume will be psychiatrists, psychologists who counter all of the information that we heard about how damaged Nicholas Cruz is. So that's next week. So yesterday, in the George Wagner case, they moved on to the third crime scene. So they've gone through the first crime scene, which was the murders of Chris and Gary Roden. They've gone through the second crime scene, which was his elder son and his fiance. Now they're on to the third crime scene, which is Chris's ex-wife, Dana Roden, and the two children, Chris Jr., and the mother of the little child that this whole custody dispute was about. So we're going to hear all of that, or we heard most of that crime scene investigation yesterday. They expect the medical examiner to be back on the stand today to walk the jurors through the autopsies of the people at that crime scene. Several times during all of this testimony, the defense has made a motion for mistrial based on the cumulative effect of these photographs, the fact that they're shown on these large screen TVs, the autopsy photos, the crime scene photos, of the bodies, and it's just, he just says it's the prejudice to his client outweighs the probative value. And the judge has denied the mistrial. and continues to allow all of these photographs to be seen. It's to help the jury understand what took place. Now, for me, I don't need to see the photographs. If you tell me somebody was shot in the head, I believe you. I don't want to see the photograph. If you tell me they were shot in the head 5 times, I believe you. Dana, Chris's wife, who at the 3rd crime scene, she was shot in the head multiple times with a pillow over her head. Oh, how horrendous. I don't know what the purpose of the pillow was, but I don't need to see that. I don't, yeah, I believe you. Trust me. Just, move on. I don't need to see it. Anyway, that's always been my opinion as a juror. If you tell me that someone was stabbed, I believe you. I don't need to see it. I don't need to see the photograph. Yeah. So let's move on to the Alex Jones case. So Alex Jones actually took the stand yesterday, but before he took the stand, the judge had to walk him through everything you are not allowed to testify about. You are not allowed to talk about free speech. You are not allowed to talk about being found guilty. She went through this whole litany of stuff he is not allowed to talk about. She's like, you're not going to be asked these questions, but I don't want you to volunteer this information. He said, I understand. So he gets on the stand, and the prosecution says, I served you with a subpoena at your last deposition for you to appear at trial. And he says, yes, that's why I'm here, because of a subpoena. But in fact, you've been here for a few days now, yes, but you haven't appeared in this courtroom. No, but you appeared at on the courthouse steps and gave a press conference. Yes, I did. And, but the whole point of this is that he doesn't have the courtesy to sit during the trial. He says, you've been paying attention to the trial. In fact, he has put up a web page on his InfoWars channel. He said it's not a separate website, but it's a web page that he has named Kangaroo Court, where you can go and see clips of the trial. So he's been following the trial. He just doesn't have the courtesy of being in the courtroom. Now, one of the questions he was asked several times, because he wouldn't give a straight answer, is, do you think this is an important case? Now, it's a yes or no question. And he says, I think it's historic. Because he's not allowed to talk about the impact he thinks this is going to have on free speech. So he said, historic. Then another question he was asked is, credibility the most important thing to you? And so he tried to answer it, with his own spin. And the plaintiff counsel said, this is a yes or no question. Is credibility important to you? And he said, no. And then he goes on to explain, most important thing to me is crushing globalists. Now, he didn't need to say that additional bit, but he got it in there. And several times the attorneys would go sidebar. Now, an interesting thing about this trial is the judge is allowing sidebars to be heard by the media. Now, when I first heard the sidebar earlier in the trial, I thought, oh, am I supposed to be hearing this? Is this a mistake? But she is actually allowing sidebars to be heard. And so there was a sidebar, and his attorney said, if he keeps going down this line of questioning, Alex is going to start talking about how he thinks this whole court process is a conspiracy against him. So the questioning continued, and Alex's attorney would object, and Alex would answer the question anyway. So the judge would stop and she'd tell him, listen, you have to stop if your attorney objects so that I can rule on the objection. At one of the questions he was asked, his attorney objected. The judge sustained the objection, which means he ruled in favor of his lawyer, meaning he didn't have to answer the question, but he answered the question anyway. And she told him, listen, your attorney objected. I ruled in your favor. You didn't have to answer the question. And he's rolling his eyes and he's doing this, and he's just acting like a complete ass on the stand, especially with the eye rolling and the facial expressions, and like this whole thing is just a bother to him. So, but he kept doing this. He kept answering the question despite his attorney's objections, to the point where the judge excuses the jury and she tells the attorneys, this cannot continue. He must stop answering the question and let me rule on the objection. And the attorney says, well, then you need to stop him. That's your duty. And she's like, physically? How do you want me to stop him? I've told him several times that when you object, he needs to pause so I can do my ruling. And he just keeps talking over me, talking over you, and spitting out his answer. So after some argument, her ruling was that when they return tomorrow, because Alex is going to return to the stand today, when they return tomorrow, she's going to have a zero tolerance policy. And if it happens where, his attorney objects and he continues to answer the question, she's going to stop the proceedings and hold a contempt hearing. Now that I have to see, because it's going to happen. Alex can't control himself. He's used to being the center of attention, the where every focus is on him, and he just ignores his attorney, ignores the judge. So for some reason yesterday, they actually went into chambers, and when they came out, they excused the jury, let them go home early. Today, when they came back, she just said, we had some technical difficulties yesterday, so I gave you the afternoon off. So I don't know. So Alex Jones is back on the stand today. I'll bring you the highlights of that Monday in Crafting and Crime Daily. So I want to talk to you about Jack Henry Abbott. Jack Henry Abbott. In 1981, he is caught in Louisiana after a 2-month manhunt. Now, who is Jack Henry Abbott? This man had spent his entire life in prison. From the age of 9, he went into a reform school. He gets out a few years later. He commits forgery. While serving his sentence for the forgery, he kills another inmate. He said he was being homosexually attacked, so he killed him. So they tack on another 14 years to his sentence. Meanwhile, in 1971, he escapes from prison and robs a bank. He's caught, he's returned to prison. So he discovers that Norman Mailer is writing a book about Gary Gilmore. So he's very intrigued by this. So he starts writing these long letters to Norman Mailer, who is an author, famous author. And Norman Mailer is really, really impressed with this guy's writing ability. So he takes it to his publisher and they work out a deal and they agree to publish these letters. And it actually gets published in a book called In the Beast of the Belly, which became a very famous book, a bestseller. It was at the urging of Norman Mailer that they released this guy, Jack Abbott, back into the public. He gets out on parole. He goes into a halfway house. This is in June of 1981. Norman Mailer says, I'll hire him as a researcher. I think this guy has the potential to be an acclaimed writer and he should not be in prison. So they let him out. He gets into this halfway house in June. In July, in a restaurant in New York called Benny Bon, he gets into an argument with a waiter and he stabs the waiter. So he flees. He goes to Mexico where he doesn't speak the language. So he goes back to the United States into Louisiana where he, after 2 months, is caught and returned to prison. So for the murder of the restaurant waiter, he gets another sentence of 15 years to life. So in 2002, he committed suicide. But in the meantime, his book, In the Belly of the Beast, like I said, became a bestseller. So that's what happened this day in history. You didn't know that, did you? So just some housekeeping details here. Tonight I will be on Mickey Sunshine Creates live at 6 p.m. No, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 7:30 Eastern, for the continuation of The Great Escape. It's almost over, guys. We have a few more prizes to give out, and then next Friday we will be giving out our 2 grand prizes to everyone who has been part of the event that has finished 50% or more of their canvas, which we have to figure out this week who that is. I finished my canvas, but I'm not eligible. We're going to be giving away 2 $50 gift cards to Captured by Radiance. But we still have more prizes to give out for the participants of The Great Escape. And we'll be doing one of those prizes tonight in Mickey's Live. Also, Sunday at 2 p.m. is a baby shower for Jennifer Roberts, DP Addiction Adventures. Most people know her by her YouTube name. She just had a baby, Jude Roberts. This baby shower was rescheduled because she decided to have the baby before the shower occurred, the weekend before the shower occurred. So she was blessed with this beautiful, gorgeous baby, and we want to celebrate that by coming to her shower, watching her open her gifts that have been piling up at her house from Amazon. That'll be Sunday at 2 p.m. I'm going to put down in the description how you can get all the information and say that you're going, because we're looking to see how many people are going to be attending. It'll be a Zoom that you can attend by Zoom. And it'll be fun. Even if you didn't get her a present and you just want to watch her open her gifts and congratulate her and see the baby and see how excited her and the family are, join us. So that, like I said, 2 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. So that is all I have for you today. Today is Friday, payday. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, I think it's my last payday. Yep. After that, unemployment. Fun employment. Ooh, 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 ooh. Dance, dance. Look at my belly. Oh, God. I'm being silly. Anyway. So, thank you guys so much once again for your kind support. Yesterday was just a terrible day. I did this, worked really all afternoon on my Goodwill video for the Leftover channel, and I go to upload it and half the video is like gone, so I have to redo that whole thing. Yesterday was just kind of a wash, except for, I had fun doing the gaming from Dreamlight Valley. I needed that escape yesterday. So thank you guys so much again, and I will see you tonight in Mickey's Live. I will be live 11 a.m. Central Time on Sunday, back to my usual Sunday time after last week's Craftathon. So I'm super excited for Sunday to see all my regulars and say hello to everybody. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye.